A lampshade is primarily practical. It diffuses the light the bulbs emit. It also serves a decorative purpose. What the shade is made of, its shape and size, all influence the style of the lamp. So much so that you can give an old lamp a whole new look just by changing the shade. Whether the look is modern or classic, putting the perfect shade on your lamp base is always a bright idea. Manufacturing a lampshade begins with the frame. It's made of steel wire, 3 or 4 millimeters thick, depending on the shade size. A computer-guided forming machine pulls the wire off the spindle and straightens it with rollers. Then the machine bends and cuts the wire into the shape of each frame component. For each frame, the machine makes 2 rings in the shape of the shade, typically round, square, or rectangular. Then it makes 3 L-shaped pieces. To assemble the top of the frame, they place 1 L-shaped piece at a time in a positioning jig alongside a steel loop with 3 tabs. They weld an L piece to each of those tabs. Next, they take each ring and weld it closed. They weld the free end of the L-shaped pieces to one of the rings. This completes the top of the frame. The remaining ring forms the bottom of the frame. Workers spray both of them with paint powder. Then, the frame parts enter an oven, which bakes the powder into a durable coating. At the core of the fabric portion of the shade is a sheet of PVC plastic that has an adhesive on both sides. Working one side at a time, they peel off the paper covering the adhesive, then apply the fabric gradually, carefully smoothing it out as they go to prevent creases. This lampshade has cream-colored linen on one side and patterned cotton on the other. Once they've applied fabric to both sides of the PVC sheet, a computer-guided cutter cuts out the shape of the shade. It also cuts through the inside of the fabric in the PVC all along the perimeter, ½ inch from the edge. This leaves a small border of only outside fabric. They apply double-sided tape to this border on the top and bottom of the shade. They run a bead of glue down one side edge, then fold the outside fabric border over the inner fabric. This gives the lampshade a neat seam. Now they assemble fabric and frame, starting with the bottom ring. They position it just above the double-sided tape along the border. Then they remove the paper to expose the tape's adhesive surface and fold the tape border tightly over the frame. They stand up the shade on its bottom ring and position the top ring with clips. Then they peel, fold and stick the fabric border over the ring, just as they did on the bottom. They press all around to smooth out the fabric and ensure it adheres well. Then, using a bent spoon, they push the edge of the fabric in behind the curved wire frame. This creates a neat, rounded rim. They seal the shade's vertical seam, applying glue to both the inside and outside edges. They weigh it down for about ½ an hour until the glue fully cures. The shade is now ready to add its personality to an awaiting base. With all the lampshade styles, shapes, colors, and fabrics available today, any lamp can have multiple personalities.